Nevermore Project, Day 7. Technically speaking, this is supposed to be the concluding audio post, but I've got so much information to truck through and so many last-minute experiments to perform that I'm probably going to need an 8th, a bit of a wrap-up, mostly because there's so much to talk about today. Now, we'll start with the reconstruction process. Yes, I've had no less than 3 specific requests to make certain that all tab A's go back in slot B's where our guest is concerned. And I am happy to report that they, for the most part, have. Yes, there were a couple of wiggly bits that I'm not entirely certain where went. We mapped him pretty well, and we utilized all the latest MRIs, and as far as I could tell, we plugged back in everything that we unplugged, and everything that we severed, we've unsevered. Is unsevered even a word? Well, this is what I've got, and yes, so I've got these 2 bits left, and I'm going to research them as best as possible and monitor him over the next couple of hours to make certain that these bits get regrown by his bits. And if not, well, then we'll just consider these the 2 extra pieces that you end up out of a jigsaw, even when you've completely done the jigsaw, and you don't know if these 2 bits were ever part of the puzzle, or whether they were just extras, or whether they were gifts left in your box by the puzzle fairy. Yes. Normally I'd be quite happy to have these extra odds and sods, but they're decaying at a remarkable rate, so I've got them in the spectrometers now, and we're going to do as much of a workup as possible. Hopefully we can at least get a 3D model before they become so much nasty, foul-smelling goo. I've had a lot of nasty, foul-smelling goo around here lately. Of course, most of it's been spewed by that Dems woman every time someone accidentally touches her. Good Lord. I swear. 7 now, by the way. I've lost 7 members of my staff. And I said I was probably going to lose a couple more the other day when it was 6. So I'm still keeping my eyes on number 8. If he hasn't quit by the end of next week, I may transfer him anyway. He's becoming remarkably annoying with the whole religious bit. Not that I have a problem with religion. I mean, Templars, cross, hoorah! But no, he wants every Sunday off, and he's asked if it's possible to start some kind of prayer group. Apparently he even has interest in the subject. So many distractions. There's so much work to do around here. I've already told the director all of this, and with any luck, hopefully, he'll agree with me that religious practices have no place in a scientific... It ruins the environment. When you start believing in an invisible man high above you, who directs everything, and I'm not going to go into the rant here, I've already done it in his office, and hopefully it's going to... Well, let's just get back to the log. I'm going to take these by numerical bullet point, and just so that I don't ramble and lose where I was. Point 1. I'm sorry to tell the folks at Project Disable, but their pet monster is unfortunately still safe. Yes, I see nothing in my notes here to indicate that my guest can in any way permanently put down their guest. From what I understand, this may also be as disappointing to their guest as it's going to be to them. Disturbed, insane little creature. 2. To the people at Project Nagahide, their guest's phenotype and my guest's phenotype are in fact genetically compatible. We're going to end up taking samples of both and trying them out in the cloning lab. I'm excited to see what's going to come of it. I suppose the fact that they're both basically fanged, red-eyed monsters means that we're probably going to get a cute little red-eyed monster out of the deal. Definitely interested in that. Sounds exciting. Operation Coin Toss. Now, I'm sorry about this one, but I can't really help you. I mean, first off, you're an operation, not a project. And while I would love to continue being of great service to the Inquisition, hello, Miss Sweetie, I really can't help you. There's nothing luck-based about this particular guest. And so I wish you well. And I hope that if you do ever have any actual scientific needs, you will keep us in mind. And lastly, Project Bohemian. No, despite your suppositions, I was able to find no biological evidence that my guest had any special powers that allowed him to interface better with your subject. I did have a labs tech tell me that the secret ingredient might just have been compassion. Yes, I sacked that sentimental idiot rather quickly. There's no place for that in the scientific workplace. Alright, let's see, I've gone over 6 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. I did want to go ahead and make those notes, and I've done that. And I can't really think of anything else, aside from the fact that I'm going to be so grateful to get rid of this guest. Although I still think that there's far more we could learn from him if I could do a full and proper dissection. However, since I can't, his presence is honestly now more of a distraction than anything useful. I'm not going to get anything more from him in the next week than I would if I had him for the next month, if I can't actually get in and figure out what makes him tick. So we've put all the bits back, including the little wiggly bit from the back of his brain, which anchored rather quickly, and in fact anchored more securely than it was in the first place. Rather curious to see what that ends up doing. Oh, last note, I do wish to find the person on my staff who keeps... We keep finding black feathers in our subject's room, guest's room. I don't know where they're coming from. They're not part of any stuffing. We don't use feather quilting or feather pillows of any kind. But we're finding a number of black feathers in his room. I'm going to make a note to check all the cleaning staff to see if somebody's making a raven joke. But until then, interesting curiosity. And look,